no holds barred. In the spotlight with Oxy Spotlight, interesting topics, issues, and relevant situations. Don't miss In the Spotlight on Q95 FM Radio every Monday night from 8 p.m. In the Spotlight on Q95 FM Radio every Monday night from 8 p.m. In the Spotlight, featuring people from all walks of Dominican life, spotlighting their triumphs and tragedies, dreams, hopes, aspirations, untold stories, touching the human and personal side of our people in politics, religion, sports, business, music, culture, the media, and more. Getting to know our farmers, our public servants, youth, and ordinary Dominica. Listen to their stories. No limitations, no restrictions, no holds barred. In the Spotlight will also spotlight interesting topics, issues, and relevant situations. Don't miss In the Spotlight on Q95 FM Radio every Monday night from 8 p.m. In the Spotlight. Eight 12. That's the time in the studios of Q95 FM Radio. Good evening, one and all, and welcome to tonight's program. As we getting nearer to the end of our month of May 10th anniversary celebrations, 10 years of the In the Spotlight radio show. Tonight's show is actually our 263rd show, if I'm not mistaken. That's a whole lot of shows, I think if we keep on track towards the end of the year, we should get to about 280 something or 290 something. And then soon we'll hit the 300 mark. People have said to me, this is just amazing content that you have with that show, getting people to share their stories. And that's what it's all about. I would like to encourage you to visit our In the Spotlight radio and the TV shows page on social media, on Facebook, and follow our page. You can also become a fan of our In the Spotlight group. We have a group as well, especially
for our fans. So make sure that you follow us. There's quite a bit of content on there, especially for the 10th anniversary celebrations. I really want to thank some of the persons who have come forward and shared some greetings, some anniversary greetings. I mean, each and every one of you, your greeting is important and means a lot to me. Just today, I think I premiered one from Dr. Walter Henry. Yesterday, we had Dr. Lennox Honeychurch. We've had Mima Raphael. We've had my friend Edeline. You know, we've had Naren Murphy, Alex Bruno. Quite a few folks have sent us videos, and we have a lot more. If you are a fan of the program and you would like to send us a video greeting, you know, that would definitely be appreciated. When you're recording it, just ensure that you record it landscape and send it to me, and I'll air it. You know, tomorrow I have one to share of Carla Amo, and I mean, Carla's message is so deep, and you know, it really had me doing some thinking. You know, getting some of those messages, it makes me, you know, come to terms with the importance of what I do with the In the Spotlight radio show. I probably had not, you know, realized how important, you know, it was to people until I really started getting some of those video messages and voice messages. Yvonne Garraway sent me a message as well. You know, this one was a voice, and I'm just grateful and I'm thankful, you know, for all the messages that have come through. I really would like to thank all the persons, all the companies as well, who have decided, you know, to provide support. It's primarily prizes that they've provided, you know, that I can do giveaways and so on. And I am so thankful and so grateful to those persons who have done so already. You know, again, it's never too late to even make a financial contribution. If you would like to do that, it would be greatly appreciated as well. But we have some folks we really would like to say thank you to, and we'll start with Josephine Gabriel and Company Limited. They are the agents for Barefoot Wine. Yes, you can show them, my guest. Yes. What do you have? Peak Moscato. Yes, Barefoot Wine. The Barefoot wines are really, really delicious. My favorite, or one of my favorites, is watermelon. Watermelon is to die for. Watermelon is really, really good. And they also provide us with Twapito water. I see that my guest also has a glass here written Wealthy Wednesday Buzz. I love it. And did I get one too?
Yes,
I seem to have gotten one as well. With my name. Oh, la la, I love it. You can show them mine. Okay. Yes, show them mine. So thank you to Josephine Gabriel and Company Limited. We thank you for your unwavering support to the In the Spotlight radio show. You've always been there with me, and to Jenny and Jared and the rest of the team, I really just want to say thank you for your ongoing support. We have GBA Enterprises. Jeff, good evening to you, and thank you. Bunny's Cakes and Catering provided a lovely cake for our Mother's Day giveaway. Pamplemousse goodies and services, and I really have to big up Ronald Astafan. And Ronald has been coming through. I'm not sure how long it will last, but we've really been grateful and appreciative to Ronald Astafan, you know, who's been providing us with a goodie box throughout the month of May. And we are so, I think we actually started end of April. And tonight our goodie box is actually a gâteau. So thank you, Ronald. And please support Ronald. Place your orders for your goodie boxes, whatever it is that you want, he will provide. I also, Ronald, have to mention that grapefruit pink pamplemousse or pamplemousse pink grapefruit punch. Listen, you have to market this. You have to take this to market. This is delicious. I love it. So thank you to Ronald for that. And let's see, I am losing my page here for a moment. We'll get to our guests in a while, but you know, these people are important to me. I have to say thank you to them. Fine Foods Inc. provided us with the single barrel rum, and thank you, Antoine, and the rest of the team at Fine Foods. You all are doing a fantastic job. My buddy, my pal Tony Sponge, thank you for providing me with some punches that I can use in my giveaways as well. and Callaloo House. Lunch for two, great old house, dinner for two. Steve, you're an amazing guy. I love you. Thank you for supporting me. You know, over the years, you've been providing dinner to me and my guests. Tonight is no exception. So my guests, after this here, will be getting our dinner, yes, to enjoy. So thank you. And I really want people to support all of these businesses because, you know, while they may not be giving me actual cash, they're allowing me to engage my audience, to engage my listeners, to engage my fans. You know, I just give them an opportunity to win something, and we appreciate that. Jolly's Pharmacy, Carlton and the folks over there, thank you. Dominica Gourmet, my girl Mema. I mean, Mema, those words that you shared in that message, they were deep, and I really, truly appreciate it. We have Nature's Touch located in Point Michelle, and Nature's Touch provided us with a Swedish massage. I said I was going to do the draw tonight, but I suspect, you know, I may have to do that tomorrow. I just couldn't get around to it today. So, Misana, thank you. Just want to big up Lisa Telemark as well. Lisa, have a good evening, my dear. I hope you're locked in. Queen to Queen, this is my go-to makeup lady. Jessia, you're a gem, thank you. Body Bliss Spa, Anastasia Ansel. Anastasia has been a guest on this show, and I think Anastasia, you know, as strong as she was, you know, it was one of the most difficult stories to hear from Anastasia. But we continue to pray for you, my darling, and all will be well. Dr. Valda Henry, she's giving away a free entry into the VF Inc. Youth Series and the VF Inc. Phenomenal Women Symposium. So thank you for that, Dr. Valda Henry. She said, "Fully, I will pay for it, but I would like to contribute it." I've not done a giveaway around them as yet, but we definitely will. Perky's Pizza, we thank you as well for your amazing contribution. And Cobra Tours, we thank you as well for your support. I want to thank as well in a big way GK, Jordan, Megan, Jerome. If you're looking for a photographer, videographer, I really want you to give that young man, his small business, some support. I mean, he's a gem. He's been working really, really, really good with me. I want to big up his wife, Yanis, as well, you know, who is there, you know, as the backbone, making sure that everything is A-okay. I know once you start calling names, you know, you have to continue, but I'll pause for now. And I hope that I really mentioned all those that I needed to mention. I just want to big up as well Larry. Larry, you know what you do. Thank you for being there, and thank you for the support as well. So we're getting ready for our guest tonight. This young lady is, you know, a very good example of how we need to follow someone you need to follow, someone who, as I said, is a good example of what a young woman should want to be like. Yes? And we're going to chat with her in just a while. And I'm talking, ladies and gentlemen, about Sherma John. Sherma John is going to be in the spotlight tonight, and I'm looking forward to the conversation that we are going to have. Emulate is the word I was looking for. She's definitely a young woman to be emulated. Nobody's perfect, but I know that Sherma has always been the type of person to try to do the right thing. And she's here tonight, and we're going to talk to her. Keep it locked. 8:23 is the time in the studio. Shims, I stole some of your time to talk about my partners, but I had to do that, you know. But we're going to be just fine. Yes, keep it locked. We're coming back in about 60 seconds.
In the spotlight on Q95 FM radio every Monday night from 8 p.m. In the spotlight, featuring people from all walks of Dominican life, spotlighting their triumphs and tragedies, dreams, hopes, aspirations, untold stories, touching the human and personal side of all people in politics, religion, sports, business, music, culture, the media, and more. Getting to know our farmers, our public servants, youth, and the ordinary Dominican. Listen to their stories. No limitations, no restrictions, no holds barred. In the spotlight will also spotlight interesting topics, issues, and relevant situations. Don't miss in the spotlight on Q95 FM radio every Monday nights from 8 p.m. In the spotlight.
8:25 is the time in the studios of Q95 FM radio. And again, welcome to you wherever you are tuned in and locked into the program tonight. It is our pleasure to have you join us and to be a part of our program. If you tuned in via Q95 FM radio on 95.1, we are happy to have you. If you tuned in via the In the Spotlight radio and TV shows page, we are happy to have you as well. You can send us some hearts just to let us know that you are there and locked in with us for tonight's program. My book is blank and we're just going to start talking.
You should probably preface.
You would like to do that?
Yes.
Okay, feel free, my darling. Go right ahead.
Lord Jesus Christ, we give you thanks and praise for waking us up to a beautiful day today. We thank you for good health. We thank you for our family, our community. I would like to thank the manager of Q95. I would like to thank Fedina for giving me the opportunity, all of the sponsors, and I would like to thank all those here in studio with us today. I would like to be able to speak truth with grace and truth with good intent. In your name we pray, amen.
The people say amen. Thank you very much, Sherma. There's a few people who've come through here on the program and they've asked that we begin with a prayer. And I absolutely don't mind at all. I believe there is a God that reigns above, and you know, he looks over all of us, and you know, we have to remember him in everything that we do. So thank you for that. We appreciate it. So let's use the opportunity now, Sherma, to just say good evening to the listeners and the viewers.
Good evening to our participants, whether you're viewing or listening, to In the Spotlight, to my family and friends who are trying to stay up, especially those in Europe and California because of the time difference, and my daughter and everybody else listening. Good evening.
All right, and I was saying to you just a while ago that you look beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, so thank you for doing up yourself for me.
Of course.
I appreciate it. I really appreciate it, and that's why, you know, earlier on, I really want to say thank you. I've had people go and develop themselves to do videos and all of that, and I appreciate because it takes effort,
that
you
means
know.
we show.
Yes,
we appreciate what you're doing.
And thank you so much, Shamson. I'm going to give you the opportunity, though, as we start, to extend anniversary greetings to In the Spotlight.
Of course, anniversary greetings to you for Dinah. I will be calling on you for some little mentoring as I start my own show also. So we would like to thank you because you have brought to us so many people and their life story. And I always say everybody have a story to tell. So we would like to thank you for that. Continue the good work and do not stop. We wish you many, many more decades upon decades. And like I tell you, I would like somebody to interview you and say that in public. We would like to know your story also.
Yes, Sherms. And there are many others who said to me, you know, the 10th anniversary would have been the ideal time to sit on the other chair, on the other side of the mic, but I'm not quite ready as yet.
I can understand that.
And then, you know, we had a chat and I explained to you to some extent, you know, why I feel I'm not yet ready for that, because when I do tell that story, I want to be able to speak my entire truth. You understand? My entire truth. And I don't think I'm quite ready to do that as yet. As much as I want people to come here and do the same.
And that is why I had to ask for guidance.
Yes.
Truth with grace and truth with good intent, because sometimes the truth can hurt.
And I definitely would want to speak my truth, and my truth maybe harmful to other
Yeah,
people.
hurtful.
Yes,
But it's the truth.
It is the truth. But at some point, God's willing, when He gives me the guidance, I will
You will
do
do
it.
it.
People have offered to be the interviewer and all of that, So, but yes, it will be a special one when
It
we
will
actually
be.
do it.
We'll
It will
all
be a
be
special
tuned in.
one. Yes. So Sherma, again, thank you for being here with us. This evening. I think that you are an amazing young woman. I don't know, was it Toastmasters we met first? Or was it before that?
I mean, I knew you from
You probably would have
Call,
known
but
me,
yes.
yes. But
Toastmasters,
we really
yes,
became
that was it.
buddies, we became
Right.
friends.
And then even doing the mentorship school, Rose and Prime,
Yes.
always meeting at graduation.
That is correct.
Right.
We always meet there.
You even end up referring me to be the MC.
That's
So
correct.
at least we have that in
Yes,
common.
yes.
Definitely. But Toastmasters.
Definitely Toastmasters. But again, it has been a pleasure, and we will get to know you
Yes, of
a
course.
bit more intimately this evening. Shams, I always say,
It's fine. I like Sherms.
I always say, when people come here, I feel that I need to make them as comfortable as can be. And I want you to be as comfortable as can be. I will never do anything to embarrass my guests in any way. I will never ask my guests questions that I think, oh, my God, that might put them in an uncomfortable position. No. We're at a bar, we're having a drink, we're sipping on our trois pitons and our barefoot wine. And we're not going to talk about the person in the corner over there, right? They just have to stay in the corner there and listen and behave themselves, right?
Yes.
And it's not her husband.
I think everybody would know who. My handbag.
Yeah, handbag. Oh my God. All right. So, Sherma, tell us about. Let's begin the getting to know you aspect of the program. So, do you know where Sherma came from?
So Sherma John is
And
from,
is it just Sherma John, by the way?
Yeah, just Sherma John.
There's no middle?
No.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, there's a Sally Ann in the middle.
I like that.
I
Sally
know,
Ann.
right? Like a Sally Water. So there's a Sally Ann. But
The way she's saying Sally Ann is like, there's a Sally Ann, but I don't really care much for the
I
Sally
don't really care much on the Sally Ann. But it's Sally Ann.
Yes.
So Sherma John, so I use Sherma John
Right.
everywhere. So when I was born, I was taken to Portersville until 3. Then we migrated to Canefield Housing Scheme, the Patrick John Housing Scheme. So if somebody would ask, where am I from? I would say Canefield.
Okay.
Now I live at Jimmy, but Canefield is really my base.
Okay.
So that's where I'm from.
You said, and I'm just going back before I lose that trend of thought. You said you go by Sherma John, but Sherma John is your maiden name.
Yes.
You're married.
Yes.
But you didn't take your husband's last name.
No.
That's an interesting place to start.
Yeah.
Explain that to us, Sherma.
Yes, I'm married this year. It will be 5 years. I'm married to Fitzgerald Gary Benjamin. And the reason I didn't want to change my last name, well, a few reasons. It was never something I was interested in doing.
What? Getting married?
Like changing my last name.
Okay.
I know people, it's like an accomplishment for some people and they feel so in love and happy to put the hyphen and add the name. For me, I don't see any value in doing that.
Really?
None at all. It was never something I was aspiring towards. For one, I got married very, well, what people might consider later in life. So by the time I got married, I already had my certificates and everything in my name. I already had my 2 children. And my children, they also carried John as their last name. I mean, their father's name, but John is last.
Okay.
So hyphenated with John last. So I needed to always have that kind of bond with them. And then I just feel I was so complete as Sherma John. I really do not know why people do it. I think it's tradition. And so we just go ahead with tradition. And sometimes I just think I think outside the box. I do what I believe is right for me and not go too much in terms of tradition. And somebody would say, I mean, I joke around and I say, well, in case there's a divorce, people will have to know, because I see so many people having, let's say, Sherma John or whatever, and then divorce, and they say, no, don't call me that again, call me whatever. They would send something to the chat, whether it's group chat or whether it's work email, and say, my name has now changed. And it's like, I just find it's too out there. Can we know divorce?
Yes.
I mean, it happens.
It happens.
So it was just...
But you don't get married to get divorced, though.
No, you don't, but it's a reality we have to face. As a matter of fact, I think we should be discussing more divorce, even before marriage. But that's a different story. So I just had no...
I've never heard anybody put it that way, Sherma.
Oh. I mean, people do it. I think most people who have done it, they're probably doctors or professionals, and they figure they didn't want to mess it. And then people start adding the marital last name because your certificate is in this name and you still want to be identified. You know, so whatever your maiden name is hyphenated, and your... But it was I didn't see it of any value to me. But I've never regretted it. But
I feel you know, Sherma. I mean, just take my name.
Oh,
Dinah Fernanda Frampton.
And then you marry, what's common F? Frederick. And then we know you asked for Dinah Frampton, yes. But I think you would probably hyphenate.
Maybe. Yeah. But it interests me, and I'm sure the audience, in knowing, how did your husband feel about that?
Well, it's something we spoke about before. So I told him, I'm not interested in carrying your last name. And his response was, you can even carry Brown if you want. I'm like, okay, then it doesn't mean too much to him. And then he said, I'm not interested in wearing a marital band. And I said, that's fine with me, the marital
That's
band.
what you call compromise.
Marital band, because you have it, you do not have it. They're still going to do what they want anyway.
So you don't carry his last name, and he does not wear a wedding band.
Yeah.
And you're fine with that.
But for Dinah, even though they have the band on their hand, it's not going to change anything. Like, it's not telling them, oh, let me not do that because I have the band. So it doesn't make a difference. I think sometimes we look at so many little things to make it an issue. But I will tell you, some people probably, because his father, for example, my neighbor, she'd be like, oh, say the last name to say the last name. I'm like, that's not necessary.
And interestingly, when I asked you for the photo to do the flyer, I then said to you, is it just Sherma John? And I don't remember what you
I probably said yes, just Sherma John.
Yes, Sherma John.
I've asked that so many times. The people there were married.
But and I like to give people their respect.
Yes,
you know?
I feel quite respected and happy and fine just being Sherma John. I do not see marriage as an accomplishment. I mean, it's just something we do. For me, it was to not be seen in, because being aligned with Christ and what Christ wants is important to me. So it was more about living for Christ than it was accomplishing, like it's some kind of big accomplishment. It wasn't.
I understand you clearly.
I feel like I was full and complete as Sherma John, and that's good enough for me.
That's good enough.
And it's important we do things we feel strongly about, and not because everybody else hyphenating and everybody else doing this and that, like you just jump on the bandwagon, like you have no thought process of your own, you know? So I think I'm my own person, and I'm very happy and comfortable with that.
You spoke about 2 children. Having 2 children prior to your marriage. Yes. Almost grown children.
Yeah, one getting 21, my daughter Shemaya.
Yes, tell us about her.
So Shemaya Dover John, she's getting 21 and she's tuned in. So now she's at Fort Campbell. She's at Fort Campbell in Kentucky. So she's doing quite well. I am so proud of her. I mean, afterwards I say, boy, I should have made like 3 more girls like Shemaya. Not like anybody else, like Shemaya. So I'm very proud of her. She's doing her thing, very focused. She's at school and she's still working. She bought her own little car at 19, take her own little loan. She's doing her own thing. And I'm so very proud of Shemaya. And then I have my 15-year-old son, That's Shemal. So you're Shemaiah, Dover John, and Shemal, but he's more known as Elvon, Clifton John. So his last name is Clifton John. So he's doing quite very well, a little harder because boys, they are less focused, so you have to push and try. Everyone, please study, everyone, please do your work. But I'm equally proud of him because he's doing very well in terms of sports. So he made the national under 17 team. He did the combined schools. At 15, he's playing for Harlem Premier. He's doing Harlem First Division. Although he's in training or tryouts for the inter-schools, for the summer competition. So he's doing quite very well. So I'm just trying to guide him as much as I can and hope he can just go through this school system and then fly away like a butterfly into his own little world and do his own little thing with my guidance.
I want to also learn, and I love how you speak so proudly of your children.
That's my I used to call them investment. I didn't stop because I think it was my daughter was feeling some kind of pressure. But really, children are an investment, although you cannot always depend on them because at a certain point they have their own life and their own families. But that's what I have, my children. That's what I have. That's my own kind of now. But yeah.
You said your daughter is
is at Fort Campbell.
Yes, in the army.
In the
military. Yeah. Would you be able to share why she went that route?
I think after she did boarding school, she had the opportunity to go to college in the US, and it was working out somewhat costly. And when I told her it's okay, I have the first year's money for tuition saved, so I will pay the first year. By the time I'm ready for the second year, I will take a loan, and then we will do the third and fourth. And she was like, Mommy, you know what? I'm not even going to take a loan for those children I haven't made as yet. And so I think there's another way for me to get an education. You have done so much for me. I really do appreciate it. And I think I will do the military. Imagine when she told the people at the school, they were like, no, you're too bright to go in there. And she like, no, she will do the military. And that's what she did. She went, she signed up on her own. She went through her basic training and she's in the military. Yeah.
Impressive.
Yes. When they had that first
why you're very proud
with
of
Ukraine and Russia, and she called me, I broke down. I was like, oh my God, I would have preferred to take my loan. I don't want my child to go. So it was really emotional. But so far, so good.
So far, so
yes,
good.
Yes.
Let us talk about parents. I always like getting a sense of the parents.
Right.
Who were the parents? I've had people come here and share different aspects of life growing up. You had those who had their two-parent household.
Okay.
Yes. You had those who probably grew up with maybe a father,
right,
because maybe a mother passed away. You had those who probably never knew their father, who their father was, and probably met their father in their 20s and so on. I've heard it just about all on the program.
And I'm no different.
You're no different.
I was raised with my great-granny, who I love so dearly. She died at 102.
What was her name?
Mildred Mababi Mafati Riley from Maho. So I was raised with her and her husband, James Babi Riley. He used to be the chauffeur at DBS, probably in your father's
Oh, I've heard about Babi.
Right, Babi's my great-grandfather. And he's 99, and we expect, with God's help, he will do the 100 in December. So that would make it so special for me to be raised by two great-grandparents, and together combined, they would have lived 200 years, because Mama lived to 102.
Oh.
Right. So she died at 102. With all her faculty, she was tip-top shape. That's what I'm hoping will happen to me too. And her husband is already 99. So together, we have 201. So we expect that Dada, we call him Dada, will live to 100 plus as well. So I think that put me in a unique situation. I don't think anybody else in Dominica can claim that, to have two grandparents raise them to live 201 years combined. So we must be doing something good.
Tell me about them. What were they like?
So I was raised with them because when I was 2, my brother was 1. So my brother was 1, I was 2, my mother left. So 45 years ago, she migrated to Guadeloupe. And that's where she has been for 45 years. So I was not raised with my mother at all. And in terms of my father, like most of us, there was no father in our life. I didn't know my father. Yes, I didn't know my father.
And it's interesting how you holding on to that last name, eh?
Tell me now. Tell me. Man, I didn't even know, you know. Because my daughter has been like, Mommy, you must go to heaven, right? Because for a man, you didn't know. I want to be Sherma John. But that's what I know, Sherma John. So I didn't know my father. He played no part in my life. He didn't support me.
So you knew him at all? You didn't know
I
him
didn't know him
individual?
at all. Let me tell you how I get to know my father. So I went to, high school, primary school. Passed common entrance, didn't get through at convent. So I ended up at St. Joseph campus, St. Joseph Secondary School from Kinfield, which is unusual. So I'm at St. Joseph campus. I'm probably in second form. This girl comes up to me, Eileen John. And she said, this John you related to young children. So I'm like, well, my father name is Glenn John, because that's what they tell me. My father name is Glenn John, but I don't know him. She said, Glenn John, that's my uncle. So I like, oh, really? Well, I would like to see how we look in. Because no matter what, children always want some kind of identity. So I just wanted to see, you know, how his face is. So she said, okay, well, after school one day, we will go down to Salisbury. He's from Salisbury. So, of course, without my granny knowing anything, I went to school, and then children will do what they want to do. Went down to Salisbury. She brought me to the house. She said, Uncle Glenn. And he came out. I just remember this man, he came to the door, and then I watched his face, and I'm like, okay, like as if, I just wanted to see how he was looking. And then she went on and she told all the other siblings, and that's a real tight family. They knew nothing about me.
They did not know you existed?
Nothing at all. They knew about my 2 brothers, that's Ted and Ron, but they knew nothing.
Were those with your mother?
No, just me with my mother. So they knew nothing about me, so they were like taken aback. So they started communicating and keeping in touch. They came for family reunion. They came to my grand in Kinfield, asking for me to be part of the reunion. And my grand like, she not going no potato reunion. Because she checking, you come down, you not giving me money for you want to take a reunion. At 14 years, you know, in high school, what reunion that? No potato reunion. Well, potato reunion.
I know,
So, yes, reunion. So there was no reunion for me. But as you get older, you start writing, so you're keeping in touch with them. But the family in itself, they're lovely. They're ace family in terms of support towards each other, the love they share. It's just Glenn that was a little...
Did you continue though?
You're tight. Now, if I do not say it, people would think Glenn was in my life forever and ever. Amen. Because we are tight. We are very, very tight.
So Glenn never come back and look for you, come to school and look for you.
Glenn just in his own little world. But I've since, I don't know if Glenn asked me for forgiveness. I cannot even tell you he asked me for forgiveness. But I know I have forgiven him. So, because when you forgive, you kind of ease up yourself. So I've forgiven him.
What about your mom though?
My mother too, I had my issues because, I mean, imagine living 2 children and going off. And you know that habit will...
Yes, and you don't have to get into that. You know,
and I think what was most hurtful, I don't get emotional.
It's okay. You are allowed.
Yeah, I don't get emotional. Is the fact that...
Pause. Take a sip of water.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I'm sorry. I never mean to do that.
It's always
happens. Yes.
Just an emotional thing.
Yes, I understand.
But we're good.
You were good, yes.
We're good.
Yes.
But it was just something else. I mean, It's like, who does that?
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
It is what it is.
And now I've forgiven her too.
Right. You've had a lot of forgiving to do.
You have to. It's like when you know Christ and he has done so much for me. I just have to.
And as you, I mean, we'll go back to Granny and so, you know, I really would like to know what it was like growing up with them. Yes, take a moment and just, you know,
You can go ahead.
yes. You at the beginning of the show you prayed, and you know, you talk about Christ again. Where do you stand religiously and in terms of being godly and all
In
of that?
terms of spirituality, I think I'm very deep spiritually. So I forgive a lot. You know, I give people benefit of the doubt. I try to live good with people. That's what I try to do.
Try to do right.
I try to do right because sometimes, I mean, I say, the things I would do if it wasn't for God or wanting to please God, it would just be something else. I try to live for God.
Okay, let's smile a little and talk about Granny.
Yeah,
And great
Granny
Granny.
have some better memories.
Yes, let's talk about Granny and
So Granny have
great
some
grandpa.
real,
Yes.
real good memories. I feel more at ease.
Yes.
So Granny raised me. Granny did her best. Granny raised like 5 of us. We lived in a 2-bedroom house, right? So 5 of us in a room, boys and girls. They haven't got boys' room and girls' room. All children in a room, and Granny and Grandpa in a room. And we had pretty humble but decent life. That always had animals, so we always had food, we always had eggs, we always had fowls. Mama did her best with support from her children, support from family. So she did her best. She never left us without food. No matter what we come home, we will always come home to a meal. It's like she was doing magic.
And it could be fig and oil.
I had rice with boiled egg, but we always had food. So I have a special something for my granny. So she always gave us food. She always looked at us. We always had breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So Mama was a good lady. She was very good.
What are some of the things she taught you as a young woman? And as you
The God thing, really the spiritual thing, because I would see her going through so many things. That I had a woman in the other lane. You know, he would take her food and bring it for the woman, and I would see her. She would just pray, and she would pray, and I would be like,
wow.
You know, like, how can she even stay there with that man?
And be calm.
And be always praying. She always, you know, God, it was always about God. So I think I have that part. And because I saw her journey of her life, she had a good life. She had a good end life. So I really think it's the prayers and her relationship with God that kept her. And that is what I say. The things I saw my granny went through with her husband, the things she took, like I make
and she tolerated.
Yeah. I vow that I will not take it from any husband because it was just so hurtful, you know, but it is what it is. She lived a good life. And we are there with the same daughter, we are there with him.
Of
We are
course,
treating him well because,
Of
I mean, before Mama passed, we used to be like, if you see Mama died before him, you know, not checking him. Yeah, we're not checking him. Yes. Because it's like, he used to do us so many things. So we're not checking him. But then when you get older and you have a relationship with Christ, but then we say, one thing, he was not a blood grandfather,
I picked that up.
but he raised us and he never disrespected us in terms of sexuality. You know, there's some aviole men, you raise free, healthy looking girls, they might want to touch your bottom or do something. He has never disrespected us, and he was there with my granny, my mother, me, my daughter, so like 4 generations. And if it's one thing we can say, he has never disrespected us. So nobody is all bad or all good. So give that to him. And up to a day like today, we are still checking where he step great grand and step grand. But we are still checking for him. And we will until he dies. That's a commitment. Because we always say that's what Mama would like, and that's what God expects of us. Because when you see God bless you, if you see you do not use that blessing to please Him, He's going to take it away from you. And I don't want Him to take the blessing away from me. So I'm always like pushed to do what I know is right, even if I can do otherwise. I mean, people maybe even say you flatters, or you like to flatter people, or the person vexes if you just forget them.
I get that sometimes.
Because you don't need the person to pay your bills, or you don't need the person at all. But I like, why not just live together happy, because that's what God wants from us. And that's how I live my life. And it has not let me down. I feel pretty comfortable doing it. And that's how I intend to continue doing it.
And that's why blessings will continue to rain on you.
And even that, you talk about blessing. Mama had nothing to live for us. Mama had no land. Mama had no bank account. As a matter of fact, when you give Mama a little money, Mama put some in the bank. She never wired for me to go back and get it tomorrow. Mama wasn't saving. She couldn't save because 5 of us, she's not working. Only Dad are working at DBS. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Just think about it now. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 5 children plus herself and her husband. She couldn't save. Mama used to send us some query. I used to say my granny invented the credit card without the actual card. That was my great granny. Mama sent us in the shop and credit. Mama said to send they write it in a book. When you get money at the end of the month, she will pay. But when you start getting older, teenagers, yeah, because a matter of fact, we go to the shop. If we see someone in the shop, we stay towards the back. We stay towards the back, and when the person go, we come and see them say, tell her the book close. Because she probably have more than tell her the book close, or that's it, she passed her limit. And then I remember saying, Mama, but just don't go and credit. So but she has to do it for us to eat. And Mama used to say, before I die, I will stop crediting. So said Sudan. Long before she died, I started working, my cousin started working, everybody working. So everybody had money to pitch in, and Mama was able to live a life and not credit from anybody. So that's why I say she lived a good life. She had a good life.
Sherma, do you know the number of persons who are probably viewing or listening to this program tonight who can relate?
I know, and that is the reason.
I spent 2 years with my grandmother in Pishley, and I had to do the crediting too.
Yeah, and
I was always a little embarrassed, to what my granny say.
Yes, granny say, but they feel that's what they have to do. And sometimes my mother would come, or my other aunties and uncles, they would give her some money. She would pay it, but right back by the next month, she back in the credits.
Yes.
And that is why I have such a passion for education, financial education. I think that is my passion because I was raised in the system. And I always say, in my granny, she had to do it for survival. But for some of us, I always say the decisions we make can put us in a situation where financially we're not independent. And that is why I came up with my whole program and trying to push a lot about wealth, but not limited to financial. Yeah.
And we'll talk about it as well, a little later on in the program. But I also want to learn, Sherma, what was it like growing up though, in your youth, your younger days?
Yes, I grew up at Kenfield, and of course we were in church, involved in church.
So was that granny too?
Granny, mama, we have to go to church, we have to get up early morning, go massacre up on the hill, we have to do all the moving and all the rosary. We used to kneel by the bed, all of us, all 5 of us, and say St. Michael the Archangel, we have to say the rosary, we have to say the I believe in God, we have to say the Our Father, we sleeping, we tired. But every night we have to come as a family, and sometimes we used to try to go and sleep early to not do it. But that's what it was. We used to do it. And I think that is something I wish I had continued with my children. Because when you start having children, everybody have their own room, and then everybody go and sleep at a different time.
And with the age of technology.
Right. So we tried it once or twice. They would come on my bed, but as they're getting older, it's like, so that we end up letting fall off the way. But growing up with Mama, we're in a close-knit community, everybody looking out for everybody. So, we didn't have gadgets. So, but like a TV, one channel. maybe Channel
Channel
13.
13.
Right. And then we always river, beach, so walk down to go Donkey Beach. So we were always there together in terms of, and we couldn't stay out late. You see, like I seen children outside, or whatever o'clock in band and thing, 6 o'clock inside. The only little time we used to get to be outside, I joined the choir by force. I cannot sing. But I joined the choir because it's church mama like, right? So I have to go choir practice. So I get into be outside to go choir practice, join the church youth group. Anything church related is like you can go. So that's where we meet in our little boyfriend or little friend, or that's the only little leeway we had. But it was quite good growing up with her. And because I grew up with my brother and cousins, like we were not lonely. So I don't know what loneliness is. We always had the neighbor children, so everybody coming together, playing together, we eating together. So it was community, and we haven't got own room. So you cannot even say you're going in your own room and whatever. Everybody in the same room. So growing up, I had a decent life. I couldn't join Girl Guides. I wanted to, but I couldn't. Because of money, again, Mama have 5 children to feed. It's not Girl Guide uniform, you can go. I couldn't do a lot of things. I couldn't join the school band. I couldn't, nothing extracurricular. So probably that's why now I just want to be out there in everything, because I couldn't do it when I was growing up. But what I can say is that she provided a good life, and she really pushes in terms of spirituality. She tells you no matter what, like praise God. No matter how bad things are, just praise God, because it will get better. And so said, she gave me a lot of blessings. And I think that has carried me on. I don't know if she had she left a piece of land for me or some money, I don't know if it would have had the same value as the blessings. So I got a lot of blessings, and I'm so grateful for that. Some other times I wondered what would have happened or what my life would have been like if I was raised with my mother or if my father was in my life. But you know, we will never know.
Never know.
But I'm appreciative for the life I have.
Let us talk about education.
Yes, in terms of education. So St. Martin Primary, I remember that. I remember.
But great granny made the effort to get the uniform, eh?
Yes.
Because, that was a must.
Because Auntie Teresa, Auntie Levy, Auntie whoever, everybody will come. We have to go to school. So we were at St. Martin's School. All of us went to St. Martin's School. And I remember Fat Miss Wilson. I remember her in particular because she would put me on her lap, lift up my dress, and beat me when I not behaving very well. So we went through the primary school, did common entrance. I failed common entrance the first time. And that's what I want people to know. Even if you're not successful on your first attempt of anything, you do not give up. That will not determine your destiny. So I failed the first time. I went back again. I got a bursary. And that is where I went to St. Joseph campus, because I guess convent was, you have to know who and whatever to reach in there. So I went to St. Joseph campus, and that's another thing. When God allows certain things to happen and not allow certain things to happen, there might be a reason behind it.
Always.
So you embrace and you move and you just do what you have to. Because had I gone to convent, I do not believe I would have known my father. Maybe later on I would probably go and look for him, Dominican not so big. But I would not have known him at that time. I got to know him. So I went to St. Joseph Secondary, St. Joseph campus, now Isaiah Thomas, and did the 5 years, got 5 O-levels, went to Clifton Jupiter Community College.
That's what we went to.
I think I met you. You were there too. Yes. I remember you, your home in your side. Yes, so we went there, and then in terms of selecting your subjects, I failed maths. So that's another thing. Imagine I failed maths.
And you in
and right now,
finance.
they're in a whole bank.
Yes.
So that again, do not let your failures determine who you're going to become. So when they told me if I do the secretarial, I will get a scholarship because my grades were good enough. I could have forced the academical section, but I would have been on my own. And then, you know, Mama cannot afford all of that. So I said, I'll take the secretarial. And the other thing that sold the secretarial to me, there was a 6 weeks job attachment on the secretarial. So you do secretarial, then you go for 6 weeks at a company. And then they said sometimes the people, the companies give you a stipend.
Yes.
Sometimes they keep you. That was good enough for me. I'll do the secretarial. So we did the secretarial, and I went establishment for my attachment.
6 week
For my 6 week attachment, I went establishment, finished secretarial. A few of us got the full certificate, so I was one of them. Before I left college, there was this teacher. Let me just pick up my college teachers also. Franklin Shillingford, Frederica James, Janet Harris George, and Mrs. Harris. Mrs. Harris' husband had Amon Harris. And she selected 3 of us to go for an interview. While at college, last year, just finishing up exams, 3 of us to go at her husband's firm for an interview. One was for a permanent position, one was for temporary. So when we went there, I remember hearing the young lady say, okay, they're going to give us a test, a typing test. And I was not very good at typing. My bestie Pepita was with me. She was one of them selected too. So when we did the test,
I remember Pepita.
Yeah, Blondell got the permanent position. Pepita didn't hear test. Pepita types better than me. But she didn't hear test, so she was taking her time doing her typing. But I heard test, so that's another thing. Pay attention.
Yes, listen.
But I heard test, and I trying to type fast and without errors. So when they do all the correction, Blondell got the permanent job. I got the temporary position for 3 months. Pepita really didn't care to be working there. So it was like no biggie for her. So I started working there even before I graduated from college. So I'm one that can say I have never been unemployed.
I can say the same as well.
Oh, really?
Yes, absolutely. And I thank God for that.
Every day. I have no idea what it is to be unemployed. I have always, so while I work in there, I have to ask them for permission for me to go and graduate. So I asked them for permission, I graduated, came back. Within the month, remember I'm there for 3 months. Within the month, establishment called me. So that was Petrolina Labadie, nice little lady, Miguel Labadie mom. So she called, she said, because I work there, they know my work, they offered me, but you know, government is temporary for a long time. So she told me, but she's sure it's going to be more than 3 months. So I told Mr. Harris, government is giving me a little something, so I prefer go there. And he was good, he like, fine. No
because
problem.
they
know
could
it
not
was
accept
temporary,
you as
right?
temporary.
So I went to establishment and I did my thing there for 3 years. You know, they take a really long time at times to appoint people. But I can say within 3 years, I got appointed, which is really good within 3 years.
Of course.
It could be because I was working establishment, also doing something with Public Service Commission. It was the same department. So firsthand, they could see my work and so on. So I got appointed within 3 years. But the same month I got appointed, I got the position at Solid Waste for a secretary. That's why I tell you I've never been unemployed. So I had to make a decision, my new appointment in the public service. Go and work for Solid Waste. And people that don't know Solid Waste is really garbage collection, secretary of garbage collection.
All right.
So people would tell me, I mean, you would leave government to go and work for Solid Waste. And they say Solid Waste is an OECS project. And I'm like, well, I don't care. I know government.
You left?
Of course.
What was the determining factor?
$500 more on my salary. And remember, the lower you are on the scale, money is a motivator.
Of course.
Because when you reach right up there, you're looking for other factors.
Right.
Money wouldn't motivate me now.
Right.
But at the time, money is a motivator. So Maslow hierarchy of needs. So of course,
Maslow hierarchy of needs.
I was right at the bottom.
You did sociology.
So I left and I went to work with Solid Waste. I did my little Solid Waste stint. I'm secretary, doing the filing system, setting up everything. Because I'm the first secretary, it's a project. So I work with deceased Oliver Brown, Marilyn Hippolyte, and good relationships, Bernadette. I still have, and one thing I maintain is good relationships. I met Marilyn at Solid Waste afterwards. I became her daughter's godmother. She became my son's godmother. So we just always mentioned Bernadette is like one of my greatest fans. So I stayed Solid Waste for 3 years. While I'm at Solid Waste, I saw an ad in the newspaper that Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, they're looking for a secretary.
That's it.
Yes. So
Pause. Let's pause a minute. We're going to take a break, and when we come back,
no problem.
we will get into, because this is where you are now.
Yes,
so I really would like to know, how that went down. It is 9:09, the time in the studios here at Q95 FM Radio. We just want to once again thank all of you who are tuned in to the program at this time. Remember, take a moment, go to the In the Spotlight Radio and the TV shows page and follow us. We also have, as I mentioned, the In the Spotlight fans page. Let me just make sure that I have it correct, the way that you have to type it. It's ITS Radio and the TV show fans. So you go there and you become a part of our group over there. Sometimes we do something special there just for our people. We have some 10 people who recently joined, so we just want to thank you all for joining. And Osman Francis, Albert Gallo, Toff, Rosemary Thomas, Claudette Hilaire, Pretty Cool Engineering, the VRF Kings, Anya Devon, Dana Eugene, and we have Ermine St. John. So thank you guys for becoming part of our fans group. We really do appreciate you. And thank you for choosing the In the Spotlight Radio show page. Again, we just want to as well remind you to go to our YouTube channel, which is on my name, Fidina Frampton. So you go look for that, and you also subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you can't give a financial contribution, you can't give a prize, give the gift of yourself going and, following us on our social media platforms, subscribing to our YouTube channel as well. We appreciate you fully. All right, 9/11, we're coming back in just a while. This is the In the Spotlight Radio Show.
In the Spotlight on Q95 FM Radio every morning night from 8 p.m. In the Spotlight, featuring people from all walks of political life, spotlighting their triumphs and tragedies, dreams, hopes, aspirations, untold stories, touching the human and personal side of all people in politics, religion, sports, business, music, culture, the media, and more. Getting to know farmers, public servants, youth, and the ordinary Dominican. Listen to their stories. No limitations, no restrictions, no holds barred. In the Spotlight will also spotlight interesting topics, issues, and relevant situations. Don't miss In the Spotlight on Q95 FM Radio every Monday night from 8 p.m. In the Spotlight. On Q95 FM Radio every Monday night from 8 p.m. In the Spotlight, featuring people from all walks of Dominican life, spotlighting their triumphs and tragedies, dreams, hopes, and aspirations, untold stories, touching the human and personal side of all people in politics, religion, sports, business, music, culture, the media, and more. Getting to know our farmers, public servants, youth, the ordinary Dominican. Listen to their stories. No limitations, no restrictions, no holds barred. In the Spotlight will also spotlight interesting topics, issues, and relevant situations. Don't miss In the Spotlight on Q95 FM Radio every Monday night from 8 p.m.
One-on-one with interesting personalities, educational and informative topics and issues, intriguing and entertaining. A must listen to In the Spotlight, Monday nights from 8 p.m. on Q95. Thank you for listening.
"9:15 is the time in the studios. Before the break, we were just about getting to learn about how she got the job at the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. And if you're just tuning in and you're wondering, we have in studios with us tonight Sherma John, and I've really been fascinated so far by your story. Sherma, you know, I had no clue. And sometimes, you know, when I sometimes I get to have a chat with my guests before, sometimes I don't, sometimes they send me the info, and before coming onto the program I look at it, but you know, I always like just hearing those real stories, the in-depth stories, you know, and hearing the information for the first time. Just like my audience. I'm telling you, sometimes I don't mind that at all. And we got a little emotional earlier on, and that's fine.
And I just try not to, but you cannot.
You are like me. So
No, but emotions are emotions.
Emotions are emotions. That is it. And it's all right, you know.
Yeah,
it's all right, because at the end of the day, I always say, you know, the purpose of this program, if anything else, is to inspire others.
That's right.
To motivate others. And you can only do that by coming here and being your true self.
That's right.
Right? Especially knowing that there's many persons who can relate to your story on so many levels. Growing up probably with maybe grandparents, maybe not necessarily great grands per se. You know, not being able to enjoy the other things, the best things that your other friends were probably enjoying because your family couldn't afford. Trust me, Sherma. There's a lot of people, and probably if we go and we watch the comments, we will see that there's a lot of people who can relate. ECCB.
But prior to even ECCB, another thing I'd probably like to encourage people to do is to volunteer, like in their communities. Because prior to going to ECCB, I mean, I served on the Kenfield Bank Council, so I went up wanting to go through the whole election thing, but I didn't get that opportunity because enough people didn't register for us to have an election. So I did Urban Council, I played a steel pan with Fanta Pan, I was a guider, and I'm in the whole church works and everything associated with the church. You know, we did Toastmasters together.
We did.
So,
and we left together.
We left together. When you were the first
VP.
But in terms of the certificate, and I think I finished the public speaking one first, and you probably finished the leadership one first.
Something like that.
And another thing, like some people then, organizations, and they just want to stay on until people like push them out. I never want to be in a situation.
And the thing about us is that, and we had that in common where Toastmasters was concerned, and it's not that we're going to put anything negative out there, but there were some things we were not happy with.
Yeah, and
we were not happy with how some things were being done and so on. And we matched. We left.
It was...
and we were the original. We were part of the original Toastmasters.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Left.
So I have no problem in terms of cutting ties or leaving, and I have no problem with somebody else coming in and fill the shoes. So I just wanted to put that out there for people to, because a lot of times people want things to happen for them instantly, but you have to creep, you have to volunteer, give your time, give your skills, give your talent, and in time, something will work out for you. So I just wanted to put that out there. So I applied for the job. I remember
What was the job?
The secretary at ECCB. And I remember seeing that advertisement, and I went to my boss. And I always have good relationships with people. So imagine I'm working, Oliver Brown, this is my boss man, and I'm going to him and say, Mr. Brown, look, I seen that advertisement there. I looking at applying for the position. My boss, you know, and Oliver Brown is saying, those people have their people already. If anybody know Oliver Brown, they have their people already. And I don't even care. I still going to apply. I do my little research about the bank. And I applied and went through the process, got interviewed, got the position on the 17th of April, 2001.
2001.
Yes, so
that's over 20 years ago.
Yeah, 22 years. And something significant happened in my life in 2001. Remember I told you my mother left my brother and I.
Yes.
He died in 2001 in January. So
what
that
happened?
was an
I don't want to make you cry again.
Don't make me cry. Now
But,
you know she already.
Yes.
So he died in 2001. And I always wonder what would life, because it was
the two of you. How old was he?
23 years, around 23 or thereabouts. Yeah. So that was something else in my life.
It was tough, eh?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you left.
Yeah, it was me. But I had my cousins. I had Andrew, I had Denise, and my cousin Michael had gone off already. But we always had people. And we always had mom and dad, and they were always there. So just 2001, when I speak of 2001, it's two things. My brother died in January, and God blessed me with that job at ECCB. And I have to say it's a blessing. And when I put on my Wealthy Wednesday buzz, I actually call on people to give thanks to their employer. Because many times we ask God for a job, and even when He gives it to us, we always complain. We do not want to go to work. We call in sick even if we're not sick. We would go to work late.
Sherms, I always say, I do not even want to start to imagine what it would be like knowing a month end is coming, the 25th is coming, and I have nothing going to our bank account. I just don't even want to think about it.
Exactly.
And because of that, I work hard. And I know you do too, and there's a lot of us who work hard. And things may not always be perfect. It may not always be the best. But you see, my job, I give my 150% and more anytime that I can. I'm grateful for my job.
I feel that way about my job.
The
And people
jobs I've
might
had
say,
before.
because they're paying you a lot of money. That's what they're going to say.
Yeah.
And that might be true.
Yes.
But I'm generally a very grateful person. But when you're in a job that change your life, you have to give. And even if they're not paying you as much as probably you and I, but just being able to get up in the morning and know where you're going, and at the end of month or fortnight or however you get paid, to know for sure you can count on that money coming in. To me, that is enough to give God thanks and praise for. And I find many times people kind of take it for granted and they're not being grateful. And I always say our employer is our investor, because they didn't have to give us that job. Somebody else could have gotten that job. So that's just something I always wanted to put out there. But I can say that ECCB changed my life, and that is the reason I can do almost anything legal for my employer, because of ECCB. I mean, I was able to afford many things, including being able to take care of my children on my own, and of course with the support of family. Because yes, I told you I have 2 children, but I also raised them on my own. There was no father involvement, because my daughter died. My daughter's dad died when she was very young. She was probably 6 when he passed. So people that might know Bobish, Bob Dudley, Cock Street, nice Rasta guy, nice bones. Nice
That take you, man.
Yes, and he was a good person. He was a very kind and loving person. So Bobish, so he died, and then I had my son. My son father wasn't always in his life.
Okay.
So now my son is older. Now they have their own little something going.
Okay.
But in terms of raising him and being there, he wasn't always part of his life. So I really raised my children, and I think I did a damn good job.
Damn it.
Doing it. Yes, I take my credit and I pat myself on the back.
back.
Because, we see in our neighborhood, we see children raising their mother and father, and we see they don't come out better than your children. Sometimes when you're a single parent, and that's for single parents, that's the plug there for us. Sometimes you're better off being a single parent and raising your children how you want to raise them, with love, with discipline, than to have a father figure in the house and it's just contention and it's problems and it's cursing and it's no love. You're better off doing it on your own. And a thing I always say, children, they will not stay. I sent you a song of mine, Zappa Sepa Wash.
Yes.
So that's a song I
haven't played it from my phone, but
yes,
we'll play it anyway.
Yes, I would like you to play it because that's a song I made saying Zappa Sepa Wash. Children are not stones. Don't throw them because you throw stones. And children are innocent. Don't do them wickedness. Sometimes we have stepfathers and stepmothers ill-treating children, not loving children, not embracing children. I always say, please later, you will see that child will grow and you will need that child. Do not do children wickedness. So that is, I'm very strong on that.
Can we take a little of the song if we can play it through the phone here? Oh, I need to put up my volume.
So that what this song is really saying, a young girl got pregnant, child father didn't want to be part of it. She went ahead with her family's help. She had her child, and now the child is a big grown man. So I was just saying, children are not stones, you don't throw them. Children are innocent. Don't do them wickedness because they will grow and later, plita uke buzwe, zafa, sala, later in life you'll need that child. So whether that is your biological child, for fathers that probably figure when the child is so small they cannot support for 18 years, that child is going to grow and you're going to need that child. Whether the child is a stepchild, you met the lady with her child, or whether the child, you met the man with his child, your stepmother or stepfather, don't do children wickedness. Do not do children wickedness because the children will grow and they will forever remember it.
And let us just talk about that song, or we'll talk later about that
the
song
song
you're
was
writing.
For NCCU, Kadas, Lipso, they still have that competition.
Yes.
So one night, I was just home on Friday night, I saw them playing a repeat of the shows and I can write a song. And I just said, then I wrote my song I put
But
the
you write it
music
in English or Creole?
Creole. The first verse is Creole,
Mm-hmm.
and then the second verse is English,
Okay.
where I say the child have a lucrative career, and he met the father is on welfare, and now he still take up his father. It's almost like a forgiveness kind of thing. The father didn't support, which is have some of my life in it. Father didn't support, but later on you're doing well, and your father, you still reach out to your father. So that was call it Ambo singing that song. So yeah, that's my song. So I did a little writing. I did my little first impression for Junior Monarch. First impression is a lasting one. So my daughter did the Junior Monarch one. And yeah, try my hand at everything. You just
Why
try.
not?
And I'm not afraid to fail. That's
Yes.
another thing I want to let people know. I'm not afraid to fail. Like, even if I try and it doesn't work out the way I want it to, I will learn something from it. And then I will move on to do another project and try something else. So I'm really not, like right now, I'm just not afraid.
All right, and we'll talk about some of the extracurricular things you're involved in, but back to the ECCB. So 22 years you've been at that institution,
Yes,
and you started as a secretary.
I started as a secretary. Now they call them admin professionals
or something like that. And tell me about the growth process.
So I started
climbing the ladder
as admin, but what I never stopped doing was developing myself.
Right.
So since I started with establishment, and that's another thing when you talk about my grandmother used to say, oh, ban. But if you see you choose your ban, if you say you have good ban, you can actually end up doing very well. So the ban I met at establishment, they were all going to UE.
Oh.
Yeah, and you're young, you're impressionable, you want to be part of the ban hierarchy.
Good peer pressure. Good peer pressure.
So they didn't even have to pressure me. When they say after work they go to UE, I go UE too. So I joined UE, I do UE, did the certificate, did the bachelor's at UE. And so when I went on to ECCB, I already had a bachelor's, I had a bachelor's. And then I stayed there doing secretarial stuff. While at ECCB, I met this guy, and then he told me he's pursuing his master's. And it's like, you want to be part of
You want to be in that.
It's good band. Choose your band, choose your band wisely. If it's wrong, they were drinking or plenty, whatever, he will do the same thing.
Yes.
So he said he was doing his master's with Leicester, University of Leicester. I know what he was paying, and I want to be part of it. So I did my master's too with Leicester. And so when 12 years afterwards, Mr. Robinson, Edmund Robinson, it was time for him to retire. So having my master's, bachelor's, knowing the work, being there, it was just an easy transition for me to get the position.
From admin professional?
Yeah, but remember, yes, I started admin, but admin with a bachelor's, admin with a master's, admin with institutional knowledge, admin that has shown that she can do the work, so admin that has proven herself.
Wow. You see, I said earlier on that you're an example, a shining example.
Yes, you have to do.
So when people emulated, and I had not even heard your story yet.
You see, when people think they can shortchange their employer and take day off and take time off and they not seek and give less work, it will show somewhere down the line. It will show. So I've always been at work. I do my work well, and I have no problem going the extra mile. If you see, when I go home, work tell me to do this, that, which they doesn't do outside of working hours. But I have no problem going the extra mile because I know how the bank has changed my life. And so Mr. Robinson left, and I got the position of resident representative. Now it has changed to country manager, but resident representative, country manager is one of the same. So I've been country manager for 10 years. I cannot even imagine all of that.
Congratulations. Look, you're celebrating 10th anniversary with me too.
Oh yes, 10 years country manager, 12 years secretary. So 22 years at the bank. Yeah, that time I never imagined I would have been able to stay at one place for so long. But the time really flies.
Look, listen, I must mention, so Lisa Latush is still there.
Oh yeah, Lisa.
And Lisa says, preparation is the mother of opportunity.
That's right, when you prepare yourself. I know Lisa. Lisa was my liaison for financial information man. And she's another one that has been prepared and move. And that's another thing I want to tell people. I'm not afraid to make the next move. I'm really not afraid for Dinah. And I always have a plan B. I think it's because, you see, like not growing up with your parents. Remember, I grew up with my great-granny. So the plan A would have been for it to be raised with your mother and father. But that didn't work. And even if plan B, let's say to be raised with your mother alone, that still didn't work. So I always have a plan B. Even though I want to do that, I'm always saying, in case that doesn't work, then what's the worst case that can happen? The worst case is this. And then if that doesn't work, I just fall back and do whatever I have to do. So I've been there for 22 years.
I am so proud of you. I'm so proud of your story.
And another thing for me.
Yes, tell us all the other things
Yes,
you want to tell us.
no, because humility is very important to me for Dinah. I remember my husband, when we were doing engagement encounter, and they said, what is the one thing that you do not like? Well, I don't just tell her what engagement encounter does do, because people have to have their own thing. But he said she's too humble. I mean, who says that? But recently he said it has now become the best thing. She's humble and forgiving.
Yes.
But I'm very humble. And if people don't know, I just try to keep it very simple and remain down to earth. I know where I came from. I'm happy dealing with people at all levels. All levels. And to make people, they're people. Everybody's just a person. I do not care so much about if you're a minister, if you're a manager also. You're just a person. And I just deal with everybody that way. And I've been happy doing it. So I've been at the bank for a long time. Maybe it's time for me to exit. And give somebody else a chance.
No.
I mean, I kind of...
You're a very spiritual person.
Yes, I pray
so
for...
just let God do
I
His
pray
will.
before I do a lot of things and before I make decisions.
Yes.
But my passion, people say about passion, whatever. But I think where I would really like to go, I would like to push more and inform, educate, speak to people more about wealth. And that's why I came up with the whole Wealthy Wednesday buzz, which is just a 1-minute buzz, which you cannot really say all what you want to say in 1 minute.
Okay, so we're going to talk about Wealthy Wednesday buzz in a while. But I just wanted to get a sense from you, Sherma, as the country manager for the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, without,
divulging any sensitive
That's
information.
correct. What is it you do?
Okay, so really what I would say in a nutshell, I'm the ears, the eye, the pulse on the ground for the bank, because the head office is in St. Kitts and we have 7 agency offices in the other 7 countries that use the EC dollar. It's 8 countries using the EC dollar. So really the bank is about policies, advising government, keeping your EC dollar stable, regulating the commercial banks. So we do everything that needs to be done in country, coordinating, issuing and redeeming currency. We're the ones that take care of that. So I'm really just the pulse on the ground for the bank, keeping them stable in terms of the outreach, network with partners. We do a lot of meetings to make sure we can put forward policies, and really it's for the development and growth of all the citizens of the country.
And you enjoy it?
Yes, I love what I do because it allows me to meet a lot of people, and I think networking is my forte, so I like that. And part of the job is, we do Financial Information Month.
Yes.
So I think I love that too because it allows me an opportunity to share financial education with the public. So I like these 2 components so much. So I think all of that, when I listen to people and I hear their things are bad and things are rough, sometimes I just say, like, some of the decisions we make, and if people just know better, I think most likely and hopefully they will do better. So that's what I do in terms of work.
All right.
And I'm happy with work. Work has changed my life. I get paid well. I'm not going to turn and skirt around. I get paid well. We always want more.
Nothing wrong with that.
I always want more, but I get paid well. And
Thank God for that.
Oh yes,
More
blessings on that. And I use it wisely as well, because it's one thing. People think it's the amount of money you make.
Yes.
But they do not realize is how well you manage your money. Because I wasn't always getting a great salary. I was working with government, and on my 1,295, I was doing UE. Remember I told you I followed the bank to UE? I was doing UE on 1,295. So whatever it is you have, you just make do with it. You cut your cloth to suit. You do what you have to do within your means. So if you're getting $1,200, I do not expect you to go renting a house and buying vehicle and pushing yourself, because you just cannot afford that life just yet.
Yes.
So.
And Sherma, as we're talking about that, and it's your personal business, but it's not a personal business you don't mind sharing about if it's going to help others. You've paid off your mortgage.
I have, of course. I would like to share that, because that's another thing of hope. And that's why I say my story is a journey of hope, because that's being raised with great-grandparents, humble beginnings, just preparing myself in terms of education. And education is what took me out and gave me a different life. So the education, the decisions you make, the people you hang out with, so the friends you choose. Sometimes you have to leave some friends on the wayside. So like everybody else, once you start making when I got that job, that $500 difference, solid waste, you know what I did with the $500? I bought a piece of land. I was paying $421 a month. So really I ended up in the same situation, because the $500 difference in salary I went solid waste for. I bought a piece of land at Jimmy, which is where I live on now, paid my $421, but I had my land. And then I got the job at ECCB, making twice the amount of money. So obviously I was in a position, I already had the land, so I was able to build a house. And you're talking about 19 years ago, so things were much cheaper. And then I big up my builder, Reggie.
Big up Reggie.
Reggie John from Salisbury. So he worked with me, and I was able to build my house at Jimmy's, 30-year mortgage. And I paid it off on when I paid it off? On the 17th of April, on my 22nd anniversary at the bank. I got up, and it was always somewhere I said, and I didn't pay it off like it reached the end. I was always saying, I think I'll pay off my loan. Maybe next year or this year when my daughter comes down for her 21st birthday, we'll go to the bank together and we'll make it a ceremony. But like, no, I do not want to take Shemaya's 21st birthday away from her, because I like to celebrate. If I pay it off on her birthday, it becomes now my anniversary of my paying off my mortgage. So I did it on the same anniversary of the bank. So I just called the bank and I tell them I would like to pay off my mortgage, and obviously the bank was like, is anything wrong? Is there a problem? We would like to know, because they probably thought I was upset. But it was just a personal decision, and I think more so because I was going to push into my Wealthy Wednesday bus. I wanted to come in there with a story that I could tell. Because it's one thing for somebody to tell you, do this, do that, and they don't have nothing to show. So now I have to be the example. Exactly. So I can come now and say, I paid off my 30-year mortgage in 19 years. And it took some sacrifices. And I have so many things to tell the people in terms of, I got promotions, because remember, I'm now country manager, so I got more money, but I never increased my expenses. I remain the humble Sherma, driving the same vehicle. People say, you're not changing your vehicle? No, because it's not giving me any problems. As a matter of fact, I even I'm paint it over. I spray it over. That's how much I love spray it, looking nice and new. And it's doing it like a work. So I was always paying extra payments, because remember, I got a promotion. And I just decided to pay off the mortgage, so my mortgage is paid off. And for the first time in my life, I can say I'm debt-free.
You're debt-free.
I'm debt-free. No house loan, no vehicle loan, no loan. Well, no loan.
No loan.
No loan. And that's an accomplishment, if you ask me. At 47, I'm not afraid to say my age. So I'm debt-free. And I'm quite proud. And it's okay to celebrate yourself. It's not being boastful. It's just a matter of encouraging others. When you get a promotion, when you get unexpected money, when you get more money from work, you do not increase your expenses. You just keep focused. You must have a goal. You must set goals for yourself. You must push yourself. Another thing, we do not like to do an extra hustle. And my side hustle, the matter, is the CB paying me their salary, because I still like to travel. I have my side hustle, so I do Airbnb. I do my little thing. I do property management. If you go away and you want me to check your house, so you take tenants. I'm willing to go the extra mile. I'm willing to do what I have to do to make extra money. So it's not like I'm just there relaxing because I'm debt free. I think now I even feel more energized in terms of hustling.
Money.
Yeah, to hustle.
Very well done, Sherma.
Thank you.
What are the key messages here? What are the key lessons from your story in terms of what you're speaking to us now about being debt-free, making sacrifices and all of that?
I have actually developed, for people who don't know, I'm going to launch my own radio program. I will just call it Station because...
It's all right. That's not
So I'm going to do from June, every Wednesdays from 8:30 in the evening to 9. I have my Wealthy Wednesday Buzz radio program discussion on anything wealth related. I do not want people to believe wealth is about money. Wealth is not about money. I've developed my own 10 pillars of wealth, and it actually, my name, Sherma John, that's what I use as my 10 pillars, all the letters of my name, Sherma John. So for me and my pillars, doesn't have to be your pillars.
Correct.
Okay, my pillars are unique to me. So you know what's important to you. So in terms of spelling my name, so my spirituality, that's on top of my agenda. So spirituality, my health, being empathetic in terms of people and what they're going through and understanding. The R is for relationships, which is very important to me, and reputation. I want when people hear Sherma John, for them to feel like, yes, I can do business with her.
I like that.
Oh, Sherma John, yes, I know her. Oh, Sherma John, she's trustworthy. So the reputation, then the M is for money management, the A is for assets, and then the joy is for joy.
The J.
The J for John is for joy. So you must have joy, and joy is different from happiness. Happiness is just a feeling. You can be happy today and sad tomorrow, but joy is an internal thing. So joy. The O was being open-handed and open-hearted. You cannot be wealthy if you do not want to give back in terms of generosity. My H is for being honest and humble, and that is who I am. And then the N is for networking, because that is what I love to do. So I have used my name, Sherma John, to create my 10 pillars. You create your own 10 pillars.
My name long for diner,
You have to use your name, It's just like when I was saying, if I'm saying I'm wealthy, what's important to me? Because it doesn't make sense to have a whole lot of money and you're not healthy. It doesn't make sense to have money and you doesn't have good relationships with your family, or plenty money and spiritually you're dead. So these are the things that are important to me. And I said, but to me, that's my name, Sherma John. I was made for this. So that's my 10 pillars, and I will share, and people can call into my program. It's not conflicting with yours because it's on a Wednesday. So it's Wealthy Wednesday, so we can have it short, 30 minutes. I'm hoping that once I start, I will get some sponsors to come on, and it will really be about speaking everything wealth related, but not limited to money, because money alone cannot make you wealthy.
I love the pillars. I love the idea of the pillars. We're learning so much from you tonight.
And that's what I want to do. I think that's my passion.
What this program is about. It's really inspiring people, and I think you're doing a lot of that tonight on this program. I know you, Sherma, yes, but Sherma.
People just know the bubbly, social eagle Sherma that like to go out, and I do not apologize for that because I work smart, I work hard, I do what I have to do, I take care of my children, I take care of my family, and so when it's time for me to go on vacation and enjoy myself, what I realize, a lot of people don't have like a goal. What's your financial goal? You must, for you to know where you're going, it cannot just be you work and then the money you spend. You must have a goal. Where do you see yourself in the next year, in the next 5 years? And sometimes it might entail cutting off some relationships, focusing on yourself. Sometimes I see we spend so much time on that phone. And that's the problem I have with my son. Elvon, leave the phone. Elvon, you can use the phone and go on YouTube and they can tell you about the hack. And you can learn about, mommy. Every time it's about, Elvon.
It's bothering him.
Yes. But I say, Elvon, I just don't want you to double because I have a plan. And part of the plan is not about doubling. So I try to push him. I find the gadget is there. We have Facebook and YouTube and TikTok. But the information is there. And recently I've been so interested in just wealth podcasts and videos. And imagine, I used to watch so much about paying down your debt, paying down your loan, being debt free. I think I even got addicted. And I'm like, oh, you have to call out on that. But it was, I'm happy I did it. And I continue to watch and learn and try to put it in our local context and see if I can get other people inspired and even with a goal to accomplish that. To just be debt-free. And you may not be debt-free, but at least if you can comfortably pay your bills and have a decent life. And people think you pay your bills, you have to give back. You have to give to God. You have to give to community. You will never really be able to see your way if you're greedy and stingy. You won't see your way. That's where the O in John, open-handed and open-hearted. You have to give back for you to be able to see your way. So I really hope I know sometimes I come across as forceful and wanting people to, but I'm hoping that it will be more of a discussion and conversation, and people will be inspired. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
And they will learn.
So
and I think they will act.
I'm hoping also that with additional sponsorship, probably it will move from 30 minutes to 1 hour, but for now it was a little tight, airtime is costly. So that's what I could get, 30 minutes. I have 3 sponsors willing to work with me. I can call your name now?
You feel free.
So Big Edge, Courtesy Car Rental, and End-to-End.
Okay.
So I'm seeking more sponsorship. The young lady at the church agreed to give me some $50 gift voucher to give away every month. For 3 months, she's trying it out. So $50, $200, whatever it is. Really, I do not care to make money from it. I just want the people to be able to pay the radio station for the airtime. And that is my giving back to society. I have been there, I've walked the walk, I have the education, I give of my time and myself, and that is what I give. So if I could get sponsors to come on board, pay the radio, and first to have a discussion, because at the end of the day, if the people in the country are more financially savvy, if they are wiser in terms of using the money, it is going to do better for the businesses. They're going to pay their bills. They're going to be able to pay their loans. So that's just what I'm hoping to accomplish from that. It's really not no financial thing, I think.
And you currently do it on MO News?
I do it on MO
in collaboration.
Wednesday with MO, and MO, I have to big her up. She has been very supportive. So every Wednesday morning, yes, my girl too, I would send a 1 minute tidbit to Emo, and she will post it. And we have been doing that from January. So I'm very happy and grateful. Thank you, Emo. And Emo has been doing a great job. I say if Emo is not there. So Emo is doing that part for me. So we are working together in terms of that
social media.
Wealthy Wednesday buzz in the morning. So then in the evening now, I will have the 30-minute discussion where people can call in, ask questions. Somebody else might use what happened to them, how they were able to get off from debt, how in terms of relationship. And we're going to discuss everything, but when we speak about relationship, we're talking about marriage, divorce. You're talking about, when you talk about spirituality. So it's a whole range of topics. So I'm not limiting it to any money matters.
Girl, you're just dynamic tonight.
Thanks.
What I also appreciate about you is that you also know how to strike the balance. So Sherma toujours check place qu'à vacation. How do you make that happen?
Imagine when I was young and I said, I just want to be able to pay my bills on time. I do not want to have to wait for month end. That's when I was setting my own financial goals. I want to be able to pay my bills. I do not want to wait on month end to be able to buy what I need. That was one of my goals. And I want to be able to vacation once a year, at least once a year with my family or by myself. And then I started doing better. I said, I want to be able to take a vacation with my family and then one with my friends. So twice a year.
Yes.
And then starting doing better, my little goals changing, Right now this year, I'm on quarterly vacations.
Quarterly,
when I reach quarterly. So I took one in March with my friend Fernie in the all-inclusive in Grenada. I just came from Trinidad at the Borough Point 14 Fest. So that was like a carnival. So I did that in May. So I did that in May. And then I will do one with my friend Peps and her son and my son. We're going to do Europe. So
And you're able to do this how?
Well, even when I had
I
debt,
think it all comes down to
the way you
your
manage and
management.
plan, the way you manage and plan. So remember, I told you I never increase my expenses. I got the promotion. I got what do you call it when you get
Increments.
I get increments. I get promotions. I do Airbnb. I do my little hustle, but I never increase my expenses
Except for the vacations.
The vacation is my expense, and that's the other thing. People have to know what is their money spending. I don't care about having plenty clothes and shoes and a nice ride. I will not buy a ride for 100,000 or 150,000. I wouldn't do it because my little car taking me to the same places. I do not care about impressing people. So that doesn't matter. I do not care about having the biggest house on the block. I just want a little place to rest my head comfortably and it's not leaking and I'm good with that. So I live a modest life. But you know what I love? I love my experiences. So I will faster take a $10,000 and go on vacation, full my stomach. And not apologize for it, Go on my vacation, enjoy myself, come back home. And say, much your money I spend here. So my $5 vacation fee, making me spend a lot. Then you just console yourself, life is short. Then I say, I leave my money there, I'm going to take it and bring all his girlfriend and them on vacation. And he wouldn't even worry about how hard I work for it. Let me enjoy my money, son. And then I say, I'm enjoying my vacation. I will leave the house for the children. But they might not get money because I will try my best to vacation and to enjoy myself.
They'll make their own. And you'll teach them to manage their own.
Maya is good. Maya is on a great path. Elvon I have to tighten up on. Elvon can spend the money. He doesn't look for things to buy, especially food.
But you'll help him.
Yes, I will.
I mean, you have quite a few cheerleaders here on the live.
I have a lot of people that have been there
but
for me.
I don't think they're just cheering you on because they are your friends, I think they're cheering you on because of the information that you're sharing and the honesty and humility with.
Yeah.
I mean, when you say you vacation and you hold no.
I vacation. And if you see somebody call me and tell me, but I don't live above my means. For the vacation, I vacation in. I wouldn't go on a vacation, use my credit card and say I swipe in it to go on vacation without having all of the money there to pay it back.
That's it.
So every cent is accounted for. So if you call me and tell me you're going wherever and I cannot afford it, there are times my friend Pepita, she doing Uber Soca and she doing whatever, and when I get the cost of it, I say, me not this, you never buy, I can justify that one. And I don't have to justify it to anybody, but just to myself. And no, I'm not paying that money to go Uber Soccer because they live in the US. So they just fly across to another state and they make US. I just have to remind them all the time. Remember, it's easy, I make it in 3-1. So if I cannot afford it, I will let it pass me. So I'm not living like above my means. I'm doing what I can do to make myself happy.
All right, Sherms. I think we really, really do appreciate, the honesty and the candid manner in which you're sharing with us tonight, especially where finances are concerned. It's already almost 10. We have a few more things to talk about.
Oh, wow.
Yes, it's almost 10 o'clock, but I did steal some of your time, acknowledging my sponsors. So we already established, we spoke about Wealthy Wednesdays. So we spoke about, the financial element and all of that good stuff. You have some points here and we'll come to them in a while when we're wrapping up. What's important to you and the 4 areas you highlight. And we'll do that in wrap up. But you have done quite a bit in terms of community and giving back.
You almost have me counting,
Yes.
Remember what we did in Toastmasters? One.
You're into you're doing
now.
Yes,
I forget Calypso.
What I did for like 13 years.
Yes.
And you didn't come immediately after me. I think there was like
one
or two people
and Kelly
and
Edgar.
And now you do that.
I wouldn't forget that.
It's a fun thing to do.
Yes, I'm the judges coordinator. Well, I think I'm not anymore because when I came in, I wanted tenure. Like I wanted, if it's 2 or 3 years, let's do 2 or 3 years. But then COVID came, so I kind of continued on for probably 4 years. And since I'm taking on the mantle, I've developed judges guide. So the judges have a guide. I've developed and put a lot of things in place.
Observer did mention that.
Yes, I've put a lot of, because I do not want to go anywhere.
Recommendations.
Right. I do not want to be anywhere. I do not want to be in anybody's life that I'm not adding value. So if you see I'm there with you and you find I'm a strain and I'm not adding value, you need to cut me off. I want when I'm in your life that I'm adding some kind of value. So I came into the association, I did the judges guide, I put some things in order, put some structure.
Nice.
And then I told them, I think the assistant should now be given the opportunity to be judges coordinator. Yeah, I do not want to stay anywhere for a whole long time. And then I believe truly in building capacity. So you do your stint, you improve what you meet, and then you step out and give somebody else the opportunity to put their input. So Mignon should be taking over as judges coordinator. I'm a judge, so I can go back into the judges pool.
Okay.
I want to also work on evaluation for the judges. So I'm kind of interested in that, having a panel of probably 3 evaluate the judges, because the judges judge, but they really have there's no evaluation.
And they're doing a good job.
And you can judge, and your scores might be different, but when they deviate a whole lot, you must sit and analyze.
And they do.
So you have to analyze. So I kind of push in for more training for the judges. I would like to see a judges evaluation committee, and that's where I'm at. So if either I go back to the pool, or either I do the judges evaluation committee and provide some support to Mignon, whatever it is.
If I were to recommend, I think I love the idea of doing the judges evaluation. So probably you can work on that, and once that is complete, then probably you can go back into the pool.
Because I cannot be a judge and push.
Right. I think that would be a greater contribution, at least for now.
Yes.
And then you can go back into
so
the
that's
pool.
what we're looking at for this time. And then of course judges always need more training and to get more people into the pool. Some might be retiring and bring some new blood in. So yes, I like my calypso.
Yes, I love my calypso too. Okay. Boy Sherma is after 10.
Yes.
To go. We'll go shortly. You mentioned what's important to you, and you highlighted 4 things. You kind of mentioned it along the way of the program. But can we just touch on them as we're getting ready to?
I wonder what are those 4 things?
You know them very well.
Okay, yes. So some of them are part of my pillars. Yes. So I said what's important to me is pleasing God, and that is always the number 1 for me. No money, no health, you have to please God. So that's what He created us for. He brought us onto this earth to serve Him, to please Him, and that is the number 1 thing for me, pleasing God. The second thing that's very important to me is my relationship with my friends and family and community. The third thing, my mental and physical health. Health is very important to me. And mentally, anything that's going to disturb your mental health and your physical health, you have to cut it off. And then, of course, financial stability, because you know what it is. I work with money. You need money to do everything. So these are my 4 things, different and still similar.
Yes.
From my pillars, my 10 wealth pillars.
You mentioned health, and before we wrap up, we need to talk about illness you experienced.
Yes, I've been
surgeries,
there. I've been there.
Near-death experience. Tell us what happened, Sherma.
I will cry again.
It's okay. It's all right.
Because I'm sure crying. But the long and short, I've had multiple surgeries. I remember a time I went in to do the surgery, and when I reached in the theater, a nurse say I'm dark, but I'm seeing a lump there.
What?
A lump. I went to the surgery.
Yes.
So I'm in the theater, dressed and ready to.
In Dominica?
In Dominica, I'm seeing a lump there, and then the doctor's like, but where that lump is, what could that be? And then they send me back. We really don't know what it was. And then I had to go home. My blood level was low. I have gotten blood transfusion. So I've been through it all. I've gotten MRSA. I don't know if people know what MRSA is.
So what was the lump?
Up to now, we don't know. So I just think it was God's hand.
It disappeared?
Like, when they sent me off, I think the next day, they were not seeing the lump. So they were not sure. And the doctor just said, you know what? You're just feeling so uncomfortable. So I just said that is God's little lump he put there. So I think that's God's hand. I did surgery once. While on the ward, I got MRSA. MRSA is a bacterial infection of the wound. And I had to be coming back to the doctor's office every day for a month. At 9 in the night, I was at the doctor's office. He cut that wound and he, you know what they call pus? And pus and pus. And every day for a month, I would go there for him to gauze it, put gauze, better him in that thing.
Oh, Jesus.
So I've been there over. And I think maybe all that have me so attached to God. Because when you see you go through those things, life is just not the same. So I enjoy life, but I'm also very conscious about pleasing God. So that's what it is, health-wise. And anything that's going to affect my health, my mental health, my physical well-being, you have to go.
When was the near-death experience?
Well, that's when I did the surgery, the last surgery I did when they couldn't finish what they had to do because all my intestines were infused with each other, so the doctor couldn't deal with it. He had to call another doctor to come and help him.
Untie them then?
Yeah, like they were infused, like cut them to thin them out, and then I was bleeding a whole lot, so they couldn't finish up with what they really wanted to do, so they did partial. They couldn't do the rest, and that's when I had to get blood transfusion. I was just so pale, and I was just there,
So where are you now with all of this?
I'm good, I think I'm good. I do my PAP, and that's another thing. Ladies, do your PAP all the time. So I do my PAP. I try to take care of myself. I exercise. Exercise is another thing. I mean, we have to have the discipline, whether it's to lose weight or whether it's just to move around.
Stay healthy.
Right, so I exercise. I try to not eat too many things. But I think generally I can claim good health. I can claim good health, and I try to take care of myself. I do a whole lot of alcohol. I try to rest and so on.
Okay, we're gonna get ready to wrap up, but I just wanted to go back on the live for a moment and just read some of the things that people are saying. Good night, Sherms. I tuned in late. Great program right there. Somebody saying enjoy your life. Yes, we can learn from the experience of others. Somebody talks about living every moment. I'm the same with clothes and bags, etc. I don't care about those things. Vacation for me. Red says, I love her mentality. Great program tonight for Dines. Thank you. My friend Danielle is tuned in. Sandra Norris, she's agreeing with something that you said. Your friend Pepita is there.
Yes, my girl.
Yes, Shums.
That's my
Life is about living, not just existing. Zilma Daru, Glenda, Neva, Elizabeth, Shirlene, Kai, Winans, all the folks who are tuned in, we really appreciate all of you. Gilda, nice to see you here. Yes. Miranda and Danielle, I mentioned Danielle, and a few other Ali Babes, Norris, Shamia, quite a few persons, South Africa.
Yes, I have a good support. I can say that too.
This is awesome.
I know a lot of people, but I have a real core. So when you talk about people like Pepita, I'm a child godmother, she's my child godmother. Gilda is the same. My child godmother, I'm a child godmother. Marilyn. So I have my core people, and we go way back. My friendships go way back, 20 plus years. So I maintain very good relationships.
All right, that is awesome, and that's quite important. Sherma, listen, I am almost speechless, on this program tonight, and I have learned something from you. I am actually I've never done the 10 pillars or the pillars where yours is 10. No, yours is 9.
My own is 10.
Sherma. Oh yeah, there's an hour. So this is GR. Yes.
And you do not have to use your name. It just mesh nicely with my name.
I love it.
Yeah, so
and
that's
it's not
my
too
pillar.
late for me to have my pillars.
Because I always say, I don't know if you check wealthing. So like the Dave Ramsey of America,
Yes.
I do a lot of wealth podcasts.
Okay.
So it's almost like my goal. And that's another thing. We are afraid to share our goal because we think people are going to snap our goal. My goal is almost like to be the Dave Ramsey. So I'm the Sherma John, your wealth lady. I want to talk to you about wealth, encourage you to have your pillars, what's important to you. My pillars doesn't have to be your pillars.
That's right.
Set a financial goal for yourself. Talk to your children about finances. And let's discuss it on Wealthy Wednesday Buzz. Every Wednesday from June, 8 p.m. Join me.
Yes.
Let's have a discussion. I think we can always learn from each other.
Of
Because if somebody made that mistake, you do not have to repeat it.
That's correct.
They tell us about it, and then we do not have to do the same thing.
All right, guys, we have to wrap it up. Just to remind you as well, make sure you go to the In the Spotlight radio and TV shows page and follow us. We have our ITS radio show fans group. Go there, join us, become a fan of the program. Go to Fedina Frampton on YouTube and follow us there as well. If you feel you would like to make a contribution to our 10th anniversary celebrations, we would welcome that in any way, whether it's a prize or that. I still have some more prizes to do, so that's fine. Whatever the case might be, we appreciate it. But we're celebrating 10 years on the air. That is a major milestone. And I thank God, the spirituality that Sherma speaks of, I really thank God for giving me the ability to be able to do it. There are days that, Mondays that I just cannot make it, and sometimes I hope people understand. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But I did many Mondays, you're not there. If only you all knew and understood.
And your program is a long program.
It is,
for me, I can come in 30 minutes and move.
But Monday's a very long day as well. So sometimes I come here, my brain is tired.
Yes.
I'm exhausted. You may not always find me to be 100%, but hey, I commit to do it the best that I can whenever I can. And I thank God, for allowing me to be here to do this. So Shums, I'm going to give you an opportunity to share your final remarks with us, and feel free to leave whatever message you want to leave with us.
So the message I would like to leave is a message of hope. I think everybody have their story that they would like or would like not to share. But most importantly, I would tell you, let God be part of your life. Let your decisions reflect what God would like from you. Try to please God first, and then you will move on from there. And take care of yourself, because without good health, you have limited use to people. So take care of yourself. Take a break when you need to. Try to manage your finances as well as you can. Try to live within your means. Do not be caught up with all the material possessions, and make sure you maintain good relationships with your family and friends, because at the end of the period, whether it's through after retirement, whether it's when you're sick, it's not the other people that are going to be there for you. It's the same family and friends you have to come to. So maintain good relationships. So that's what it is. Thank you, Fedina, for the opportunity.
I am telling you,
so
it was
grateful.
my pleasure.
Yes, thanks. And I really hope people get some kind of motivation from it.
Oh, they do. When you go back, you'll read some of the things
I will
there,
go through it.
So, really, really excellent stuff. And guys, thank you so much for tuning in and sticking with us throughout the program. Those of you who are listening via radio, you are just as important to us as those who are on the Facebook Live and vice versa. We appreciate all of you. By the way, go over to the page, participate in our giveaways that we have going on until the end of the month. And again, I thank all of those of you who have come forward and provided some support prizes and all of that. David Joseph, if you tuned in, you are one of the pillars, one of the super fans of this program, and I really do appreciate you and the support that you provide. Shums, thank you again.
Thank you very much.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Next week, Monday is a holiday,
yes.
but I suspect for the radio folks, I have not played the the follow-up I did with Mrs. Armour. So I did a 40-minute interview with her. I went to her lovely place in Picard, and we got to do just a little follow-up, as she was the first guest of the program. So I suspect I'll air that next week, Monday, and probably just re-air it on social media as well. But next week, Monday is a holiday, as I said. And then we come back the following Monday and have a nice little guest scheduled for that Monday. So make sure that you're tuned in. Thank you, guys, and good night.